Hello, it's Miss Guthrie again, and this time we are going to be looking at Unit 2, Lesson 3, which is going to teach you guys about headings. Uh, I am on the second bubble because the first bubble is a video about pair programming, which if you missed the first video, I'm not going to show any of the videos on this video because the quality of those videos is much better if you will watch them directly in code.org. And I highly recommend that you do that so you can learn about those topics. And we have two videos in this particular lesson on Bubble 1 and Bubble 6. So we will skip those, but I do encourage you to go back and watch them. So I'm on Bubble 2. It is called Two Heads Are Better Than One because this lesson, although it is about headings, it is also about putting your heads together and thinking, looking over your code with partners. And you may not be in a place where you can do that right now. So we're just going to work through it independently, but real programmers in real life, real computer scientists, no matter which field and industry they're in, work with teams of others so that they can look for bugs. The more of an expert they are, the bigger their mistakes. And mistakes are a normal part of coding and programming. There's a lot of typing that goes into it, and it's really easy to miss one little thing. So you can see on my page that the HTML code has some bugs that are making the code pink. Pink is not good in code.org. That means that there is a problem somewhere, and it's a hint that they're giving you. Now, not all the times when you have a bug is it going to show up pink, but in this case it does. And we can see there's some pink code up here. And there's also some pink code down in this area. So we've got our code. Remember that you have extra help over here that will give you more information if you click on them. What is a bug? What is debugging? What are some examples of bugs? I think this one is very important. Some examples are misspelling, especially in tags, putting the code in the wrong place, using the wrong tag, or forgetting to close a tag or use an opening tag. So be on the lookout for those kind of mistakes. And it turns pink when it detects some mistakes in HTML. Why does it sometimes seem to work even when it's broken? It's because HTML is read by the web browser, and since there often are a lot of mistakes, it tries to predict what it thinks you want to do. So just because it shows up correctly on the preview does not mean that you have all of your coding perfectly. So just something to keep in mind. So again, if you missed the first one, all the HTML head codes and body codes should be there whenever you first start. They should be there on every web page. Don't ever delete those. Okay, if there's a problem with them and they're lighting up, leave them alone and work to try to find out what the error is within the actual document. So I can see we have a P tag up here. And one thing that the author of this web page has done that has made it very helpful, they have used proper syntax and that they have started each P tag on its own new line. Now what that does is that makes it really easy to look back and see, do I have an opening and closing? Yes. Opening and closing? Yes. Opening and closing? Yes. But on line 9, we have our closing P tag, which is pink. And it's pink because we do not have our opening P tag. Notice that is lowercase. And as soon as I added it in there, not only did it take that pink P tag away at the closing, it also fixed the pink that we had at the bottom. It fixed the whole web page. So sometimes one fix will actually fix multiple things. All right, we are going to move right on. If you've done that, please click Finish. and go to bubble 3. In bubble 3, we are going to look at organizing our headings, which we so we're going to use our inspector tool, and we're going to organize things so that they match at the same levels. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. This is a web page that is about somebody's hobbies, and they have the hobbies of soccer, baking, and drawing. However, when you look at their preview section here, and we can actually drag this over a little bit so you can see it better. My hobbies is a title, so it is the largest heading. Soccer and baking look the same, and you can see over here using the inspector tool, they're both H2 is the size of those headings, whereas my hobbies is H1. Thought I turned my inspector tool on. Here we go. So that's H1. This is H2. And the amount of time that this person has played soccer is 5 years. And you can see they made this smaller, and that is an H4 heading. Same thing under baking. What you want for your websites is nice, consistent, and logical organization through your headings. So your title should be the biggest, and then your subheadings should be all the same at each level and also at each sublevel. So for drawing, we want drawing to match soccer and baking because those are the types of hobbies. So right now, drawing has P tags on either side, but we can see what we really want it to have is the same logical and consistent heading that baking and soccer had. So we're going to change that P tag to an H2. And now it is this larger font on the page that looks more bold. And we're going to do the same thing with 2 years. We want it to match 5 years and 10 years. So those are H4 tags. So we're going to make those match as well. You can see it temporarily turns pink while I'm working, but that's okay. Should not be any pink when we're done. Turn off my inspector tool. If you have done that, you may click finish and you may go to bubble 4. On bubble 4, you're going to organize your headings by the different sizes. So I encourage you to do this independently and then come back and look and see if you've done it correctly. So if you need to pause the video and go to code.org, do bubbles 2, 3, and 4, make sure you understand it, and then come back and continue. You may do that. I'm going to keep on talking. So what this should be is the word biggest. We want it to be the biggest. We want the word smallest to actually be the smallest. And you can see that is not how it is. So right now what we see is medium small is the largest font or the largest heading size. And the word big seems to be the smallest. So when I look over here, you can use your inspector tool if you would like, but the words medium small are in my H1 heading, and the word big is in my H6 heading. And I can see I have a H1, an H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So we're going to put these in order. Well, if H1 is the biggest, then it should be around the word biggest. And then we're going to work our way down because it looks to me like the headings as the number gets larger, the size of that heading gets smaller. So H1 is the biggest, H2, then H3, then H4, H4, and then H5 is in the right spot, H6. So let's look at what this looks like now. And now we have the biggest all the way down to the smallest, and they are in order. If you have done that correctly, this is what it should look like. You may click Finish.